This is Joe Biden, the President of the United States. On December 6, 2022, Biden was about to depart the White House and head to a semiconductor plant in Arizona, and he was asked about visiting the southern border.
Why go to a border state and not visit the border?
Because there's more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise.
Okay, first of all, the plant he's going to visit isn't even producing anything yet. But apparently, an empty building is more important than literally hundreds of thousands of illegal border crossings. In fact, this past October, there were more than 230,000 border crossings. That's the third highest month on record. And since Biden took office, there have been over 4 million border crossings. And that is not including known gotaways, i.e. the illegal border crossers who evaded capture. And sure, some people might think that that would be important, just not Joe Biden.
Next year, commercial operations are going to begin. And today, TSMC has announced a second major investment. They'll construct a second fab here in Phoenix to build chips, 3 nano chips. The 3 nano chip. Chips that are 3 nano. And you know what I'm saying.
No, we don't, Joe.
Nano, no, I don't know.
81 million votes, guys. And I should point out that back in October, Biden was complaining when Fox News' Peter Doocy tried to press him about his top domestic issue.
Top domestic issue, inflation or abortion?
All important. Unlike you, there's no one thing. It crosses the board. Domestic, ask me about foreign policy too. There's multiple issues, and they're all important.
Of course, if everything is important, then nothing is.
And we ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. You know that old expression?
Says the man who can't even walk and climb stairs at the same time, but okay. Anyway, Joe Biden has been talking about going to the border since the beginning of his residency.
Are you thinking of going to the border?
At some point I will, yes.
Well, it's been 20 months and 2 weeks since Biden said he'd visit the border at some point.
Do you have plans to visit the southern border?
I've been there before, and I know it well.
Fact check, false Joe. According to the Washington Post, Joe Biden drove by the border one time 14 years ago. We discovered that Biden briefly drove past the border while on a campaign swing in 2008. So for clarity, driving through an area without stopping is not visiting. But even if you do count it, which you shouldn't, it was 14 years ago.
I guess I should go down, but the whole point of it is I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of time to get down.
And yet, between the day he took office and mid-December 2022, he's had plenty of time to fly back to his homes in Delaware 58 times and has spent 184 days there, which is more than 1/4 of the total time he's been in office.
But I plan on, now my wife Jill has been down. She's been on both sides of the river. She's seen the circumstances there. She's looked into those places.
Oh good, because we all know that Dr. Jill Biden is an expert in all things Latino.
Say it with me. Sí se puede. The future is ours.
Diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
And of course people cheered when she said breakfast tacos. I mean, who wouldn't? They're delicious. But immediately after, many Latinos and Latino groups, including the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, who put out a statement. NAHJ encourages Dr. Biden and her communications team to take time to better understand the complexities of our people and communities. We are not tacos. The following day, it was reported by the media that Jill Biden apologized for her insensitive remarks. Well, technically, the apology didn't come directly from Dr. First Lady herself. It came in the form of a tweet from her press secretary. The First Lady apologizes that her words conveyed anything but pure admiration and love for the Latino community. Pure admiration and love for the Latino community. Dude, she can't even pronounce the word bodegas correctly.
The bodegas of the Bronx.
Bodegas?
Anyway, Dr. Jill going anywhere isn't helpful to anyone. What Americans want to see is her moron husband Joe Biden at least pretend to give a shit about the border, which is why his spokesperson, Karine Jean-Pierre, was asked about it on November 30th.
Kevin McCarthy says that he invited President Biden down to the border. How does the president RSVP? We know the president's never been down to the border.
He's been there. He's been to the border. And since he took office...
When did he go to the border?
The answer to that is never. Joe Biden, in his nearly 150 years of being in Washington, D.C., has never, not once, visited the southern border.
He's been there. He's been to the border.
Since he took office, the President Biden has been taking action to fix our immigration system and secure our border.
Oh, really? Please explain it to us, Karine, what the President Biden has been doing about the border.
On day one, he put forward an immigration reform, a piece of legislation to deal with what is currently happening at the border.
Let's look at this day one immigration reform and see how it's going to fix the border. For starters, the U.S. Citizenship Act would give most illegal aliens an opportunity for a pathway to citizenship. It would make it easier to apply for asylum. And it would allow judges and adjudicators to dismiss cases, to restore fairness and balance to our immigration courts. And let's not forget the most important part of the act. It would change the word alien to non-citizen in all of our immigration laws. Yeah, that'll secure the border.
But that we're not seeing that from Republicans. We're not seeing a willingness to work with us on fixing a situation that's been around for decades now. Instead, they're doing political stunts.
Yeah, Karine, Democrats would never go down to the southern border and do political stunts. Nope, they would never, ever.
But in the meantime, the president has secured record levels of funding for the Department of Homeland Security.
Record levels? Biden and the Democrats are only increasing the budget for Customs and Border Patrol by 10% more than was spent in 2022, despite a 60% increase in border encounters year over year.
We have over 23,000 agents working to secure the border.
In 2020, there were 19,740 agents. Today, there are 23,000, which means that the White House is bragging about adding 3,200 agents to deal with a 419% increase in border crossings.
And a number of individuals arriving unlawfully from northern Central America and Venezuela is coming down significantly because of the actions that the president has taken.
Again, October 2022 was the third largest month in history for illegal border crossings. But as a distraction, she's like, oh, there are less people from northern Central America and Venezuela. Except she's not telling you the whole story. I know you're shocked. First, yes, illegal southern border crossings from Venezuela are in fact down month over month. However, that's because this last October, Homeland Security implemented a streamlined way for nationals of Venezuela to come to the United States. And according to Politico, about 7,000 Venezuelans have already moved in through the parole program. The program is designed to accept up to 24,000 Venezuelans. And it's safe to say that once the parole program hits that limit and there are no more accepted, the border encounters from Venezuelan nationals will increase again. And as far as border encounters from Mexican and North Central American nationals, here are the numbers from the last 3 months. Now, would you say that these encounters are decreasing or increasing? Yeah, they're increasing. And again, Karine Jean-Pierre is glossing over the fact that illegal border crossings are at a record high, including what the Department of Homeland Security calls a historic high number from encounters from Cuban and Nicaraguan asylum seekers. But it's okay because there are less Venezuelans crossing or something. And if you think the border isn't secure now, just wait until December 21st, when Title 42 is set to expire. Title 42 allows for the rapid expulsion of unauthorized border crossers and asylum seekers because of COVID-19 concerns. And in October 2022, out of the 230,000 border crossers, 78,000, or 34%, were removed under Title 42. And for the record, only 44% of all border crossers were removed, which means that 56% were allowed into the interior of the country. And so when Title 42 ends, you're going to see the Biden administration allow roughly 90% of all border crossers to apply for asylum, enter the country, and stay here for years until their case is adjudicated. And none of this should be a surprise, because Joe Biden said he would make it happen.
And those who come seeking asylum, we should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
And now, with Title 42 on the way out, do you think that allowing for 90% of all border crossers to enter the country is going to deter illegal border crossings or incentivize them even more? Well, according to Fox News' Bill Malugin, on the night of December 11th, 2022, over 1,000 people crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas. So I think we already have our answer. Womp womp. And on that note, that's it for now. Follow me on Twitter at Don'tWalkRun. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And as always, I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.